Hey guys, something I've been wanting to share with everybody with the car program this year, a little change we made. It seems like such a minor thing, but I really thought, it's made my life a lot easier this year so far with maintenance with the car. I really wanted to share that with everybody, um, mostly for like the LS guys. There's a ton of LS builds out there. And very popular, and something that I kind of dealt with the last few years was oil maintenance with the car. I was going through filters like crazy. I race a lot. It's nothing to make 10 to 20 passes a weekend, so we're usually changing the oil every 14 days. So we're going through lots of filters, a lot of oil, and just the pain in the butt of it. Plus being at the track, if you ever suspect any little issue, oil is a big deal. My car is a methanol car. You can be running in a very like damp, cool setting there at the racetrack, and be running a little richer than normal. It condenses in the engine. You get a lot more moisture in the oil. Matter of fact, actually last year LS Fest in Kentucky, sunset, the air got thick, a lot of moisture, very rapid drop in temperature. I should have got on the laptop and leaned it out a little bit, but the car is sitting there in the lanes blubbering, and sure enough, I make a pass down the track. Oil pressure dropped 9 psi on that one pass. Always look, data logs overlay from pass to pass to pass. 9 psi differentiation from that one pass to the next. Only difference was the time of night. So troubleshooting that, you think, oh no, what's going on? Oil pump laying down. I got something leaking. I got whatever going on. We were able to drop the oil. And of course, between rounds, you only have a limited amount of time. It would have been very nice to be able to look and see what was going on inside the oil filter. I've ran a standard LS stock style oil filter this whole time, factory location, spin onto the pan, which is okay, but every 14 days, cutting one open, about cutting your fingers open, trying to separate these things, get the element out. I was wanting to do something different. My buddy Jeff, this whole time, has been running a remote mount oil filter with a conventional style filter. So I was kind of familiar with it. Again, it was just kind of a little foreign, and then my buddy Travis Cannon, I hit him up. He recommended the System 1 filter. So we actually got swapped over this year to the System 1 remote mount bracket and the 45 micron stainless element. And so far, I couldn't be happier. So, I just wanted to share a little bit of that real quick. We did on the car, mounted it right here in the front corner. That way, very easy filter access in between rounds, or that way you don't have to crawl completely under the car if you're wanting to see, how everything's going inside the engine. Make sure you don't have any issues. Years ago, I had a tranny converter issue way back. I think I was still actually running a stock glide, and had just a dumb issue and knocked out a thrust, or damaged a thrust. And if I was able to access that filter and know what I know now, and check that stuff on a regular basis and be looking at those data logs like we do now, we could have maybe caught that issue a lot quicker, and saved ourselves a crank repair back in the day. That was the last time I really had oil issue, but it taught me a valuable lesson to be on top of maintenance. So now I'm probably maybe a little too carried away with maintenance, with changing the oil every 14 days. So, and that usually turns out to be every 20, 30 passes. So, but before I did that so often, because I wanted to see if there ever was an issue, we would catch it quicker. Because back in the day, that crank issue with the old 5.3 kind of taught me that lesson. So we wanted to make our lives a little easier in the maintenance department this year. So we did swap to the remote mount filter. So what I'll do is I'm going to show you kind of the layout of that and what we got going on with it. Quick rundown here in the engine bay. Michael Racing Engines powered. This one is a Dart LS Next block. versus the SHP Pro we ran last year. SHP Pro had the factory location oil filter provisions, so we still ran that last year. But this year, making this swap, with wanting to go to a remote mount oil filter anyways, wasn't no big deal. And don't be making fun of my engine bay here, my random brass items here, and my silicone boots and shit. If you're like Travis Ball, it drives him crazy. He hates that shit. But anyways, maybe I'll get rid of that stuff someday soon. So we did swap to the remote mount oil filter provision with the System 1 filter. But also in doing the swaps, we went to a Peterson R4 dual stage oil pump. Second stage is set up for turbo scavenge. So got a dash 10 line coming from the turbo to the oil filter to the pan. And also on this pump setup, we got with Bob Eddy at AEI CNC, and he hooked us up with pulleys, brackets, cable adapter, all that good stuff. And as you can see, it fit like a glove, and it looks really, really close there, but it's really not. So on this one, we used to run off the front of the crank to the cable adapter to drive the cable in the back, and it was just cable only. One thing nice about this is it's fuel, oil, turbo scavenge all in one. We did have to swap to a larger HTD belt, and because it does have a lot more pressure on it, running a 22 gallon per minute fuel pump and oil pump and scavenge pump, so that belt is running a lot of stuff. But the nice thing is it is tucked behind the ATI balancer. So we had trouble with the alternator belt. I think we were racing in New York, and alternator belt slung off. And when the HTD belt was located in front of the balancer, the alternator belt come off and took the HTD belt off, so it killed the car on the big end. I quickly learned that New York guys get upset when you beat them and cannot drive your car back to the pits. I nearly got disqualified due to that, just simply because of this belt getting thrown off and pulling the fuel pump cable belt off also. So with this change, now if you throw an alternator belt or something silly, it's less likely to pull that belt off. So more likely to be able to complete your pass and make the quick short drive back to the pits and not get DQ'd by guys crying about you towing your car back to put your belt back on. So with this setup, we got dash 16 line coming out of the pan into the pump, dash 12 line coming across to the filter. Setup worked great. I love the location of the filter. Don't have to jack the car way up in the air to get to the oil filter. To get in there and just give a quick check on the filter, make sure everything's happy. I'm always paranoid, nervous Nancy on engine health, just because I beat the crap out of it and want it to last forever, just like anyone else. So with this setup, we got dash 12 lines coming from the pump, dash 12 lines coming out of the filter to the engine. Also have a male-female adapter with a 1/8 inch MPT port to do the oil feed for the turbo. I used to feed this off of the back of the engine, so I had to have a lot longer line and more of a chance of that line getting into the tire or some random loop, fitting coming loose on the back of the motor and not knowing it. So I like this being up here also. Short, sweet, simple. Keep that forced inductions turbo happy with plenty of oil. Pretty simple layout. Next I will show you a quick rundown of the oil filter and quick maintenance on it, mainly because I had never seen any of this stuff before, and I wish I had seen it 5 years ago. I could have made these changes a long time ago and made my life a lot easier. So 1 second, we'll cover that. Here we are with the filter. You can take your anything 30 seconds wrench here, just give it a quick spin. pulling the element out. Rundown on the filter element itself. I believe, as I said, this one is a 45 micron filter element, and very easy to access, very easy to pull out of the filter housing, easy to clean. You can just let it soak there for a little bit. I got just, some gasoline, just something to clean the filter easily, as far as, versus like trying to spray it out or what have you. You can just let it sit. Kind of slosh it around. Make sure, this is the clean side of the filter, the outlet going to the engine. So, make sure that you don't have, old oil or trash or your cleaner splashing up in the clean area of your filter. So be careful with that. I'm probably going to rig up a plug, like a rubber plug, that diameter. That way it's easy to just plug that off and clean the filter without having to be so careful with it. But just cleaning it, very easy to just kind of slosh it around and get the gist of that. Inspect it, of course. As you can see, very, very clean. Easy to clean, easy to see. I can't tell you how many times I've been cutting open filters, just checking on the engine. About to slice my hand open. It's a pain with factory style filters, so that was one of the big things I was wanting to get away from. So loving the System 1. Ease of cleaning, ease of access, not having to crawl all the way under the car. This filter, you take it out of the element, take the element out of the housing, and you lose minimal amount of oil, and versus like regular style where you pull the filter off the engine and you got like all the engine coming out, or engine oil coming out of the engine, losing prime, losing a bunch of oil. You're thinking, did I just lose half quart? Did I lose a quart? So this is very easy to just pull the element out, clean it, put the element back in, and then you can just take the dash 12 fitting off of the filter element and fill the element back up, the housing back up with oil, and you're back to the exact same amount of oil that you started with. So that's a quick rundown of how these worked. I wish someone would have made one of these videos a long time ago to show me, because I just really didn't know how they worked and how they went together, anything about them. But now that I've done it, I freaking love it. Quick part numbers for this. You have the billet mount, dash 12 fittings, and of course the element. This is the complete spin-on housing and element. You can also get just the replacement element. I like to keep an extra in the trailer if you need it. If you don't have time to clean it and assess it, you can at least just make a quick change. If you're doing oil change maintenance at the track, easier just to throw your replacement in there and clean your old one when you get back home or what have you, so you don't have to mess with all this. So that is all I have on that. I've been wanting to share that, make a post, kind of share some of that, but it's kind of hard to really see, the benefit of this and the layout and how it works. So I thought a quick video would be handy. It is something I wish I would have known about previously. I was a little intimidated about the whole oiling system, but hopefully that kind of gives you an idea. It's an awesome option, even if you don't have the LS Next block, factory style block, stock production block. You can get the Moroso pan that has the remote mount, the AN bungs welded to the pan instead of the filter provision. So just to give you an idea of some options on oiling. Quick rundown, and hope you find it helpful. Shoot me a message, ask any questions you have, help any way I can. like I say, just trying to pass on some info that I wish I would have had back in the day. So that's all I got. Thanks.